Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. Today, instead of doing a card review on multiple cards coming up in the Kobolds Catacombs expansion, we're going to do a card review and talk about a lot of the community and what they've said about a specific card. And that specific card is the newly revealed Epic Hunter card, To My Side. Wow, look at that. So it's a 6-mana spell, and it summons an animal companion, or it summons 2 if your deck has no minions. So basically, we have the Animal Companion card, the classic Hunter staple, 3 mana, summon a random Animal Companion. We have Call of Wild, 9 mana, summons all 3, and we know that's a really powerful card. I mean, that had to get nerfed from 8 mana to 9 because it was so popular and so powerful. And since that got put to 9, we have the 3. Why not meet in the middle and summon 2 Animal Companions for the low requirement of having no minions in your deck? Right. So the card is obviously not very good. Basically, if it was 6 mana, summon 2 Animal Companions, it would be a pretty good card. It wouldn't be like a game-breaking card. It'd just be a pretty good card. The fact that it has the requirement for your deck to not have any minions in it makes it an extremely situational card that when the situation is there, when you design your deck to have no minions, then it's a pretty good card, I guess. So yes, a lot of people are talking about it, and I have some thoughts, and the community's thoughts have been particularly hilarious in my mind. So apparently, one of the Korean websites took it upon themselves to maybe have a deeper understanding of the card. Possibly 2 is not 2 Animal Companions. Possibly it is the Great Beast 2. Yeah, well, it's probably not. It's definitely not, actually. But, one can dream. Others have thought about, while this card might be extremely powerful, you can still finally have an amazing use for the Weasel. You can have a Weasel counter to this. If the Hunter has a whole bunch of cards that rely on having no minions in their deck, you can just put minions in their deck for them. The counter strategy, this crazy, crazy card that we've seen now. And the developer response in general has been that, well, we haven't seen all the cards, so we shouldn't be totally trashing this card. And I guess that's kind of fair. The reason I say kind of is the card is obviously on a really weak power level. I think if moving forward they're going to change Hunter to the thematics that we've seen in Warcraft 3 with the I Hunt Alone. In World of Warcraft, apparently they have some new talents where you remove your pet and your Hunter becomes stronger, which is kind of weird because this summons the pets that... Forget about that. Anyway, the idea is that this might be the future of Hunter. It's obviously a pretty weak debut card, but yeah, what if there's a lot of really powerful cards, and then this one, that rely on the trigger of having no minions in your deck? That could be a possibility, and that might be what they're referring to. And this might just be the first of the cards that we've seen, and there might just be a lot more of these cards. Remember, Blizzard makes expansions quite a bit in advance. They've probably made most of, possibly even all of, the expansion coming out after this one. So there might be a lot of cards, maybe not in this expansion, but just in the future of Hearthstone, that have this requirement, putting a lot of incentive for you to make this type of deck. So if that's the case, and that's what they're referring to, it gets softened a little bit, but then at the same time, a lot of the Hunter cards released in this expansion are minions. So, I think typically these archetypes work when you can use a lot of the new cards in a deck. And generally, with this type of mechanic, there's a pretty large divide between the two. If you're trying to push Hunter in one direction, and that direction is don't play any minions, well, then maybe half the cards for Hunter shouldn't be minions. Maybe it should be like a lot less, or it should be like, a bit more coordinated towards this effort. It's a pretty interesting one. We've seen Hunter decks with very, very few minions, with Barnes Yasharaj, with like lock and load combos, and just very few minions in general. And those have had pretty mild success, so I actually think the archetype might work out a little bit. In general, Hunter right now is actually struggling quite a bit, which kind of adds to the hilarity of this and kind of makes it kind of like a purified situation. But I've expressed my thoughts on Hunter. I don't particularly enjoy playing against Hunter, but the Hunter decks that play a true mid-range are actually really fun to play against because you're racing against the clock of the hero power at a reasonable point in the game where you're actually unfolding your strategy and combos. So, while I don't like playing against Hunter, I think targeting a new, different direction with Hunter is a very good thing. It's just, again, this is a very curious card to launch a fairly curious new direction. In terms of the other aspects of the card, so it is obviously, as the title suggests, a pack filler. Most really good cards in Kobolds and Catacombs are epic quality, which might be a bit of a problem in pack openings because actually epic cards are, as a proportion of the whole set, the rarest ones. You actually get a higher proportion of the legendaries than you do of the epics because, well, you need 2 of the good ones in most cases, and there's a lot more epics than there are legendaries, while they show up in packs not quite to the same proportion. So it's going to really suck when you open your pack, you finally get an epic, you get excited because it's going to be a really good card like 90% of the time, and then you're going to get To My Side and you're going to feel really disappointed. But, that's typically how it goes with this, so it's kind of goes with the territory. I actually think it's a good idea that they made an epic card because not only is Hunter particularly bad in Constructed, but it is also particularly bad in Arena. Now, with Arena, except for Warrior, if you get a really good draft, you can still do very well. It's not a big surprise when you see a Hunter at like 10 or 11 wins in Arena. It happens. You just know they have a really good deck. It's near the bottom, but it's respectably good. But if a card like this would be like a common as to not screw up the pack openings, it would certainly screw up Arena for Hunter because in Arena, you cannot play a deck as Hunter with no minions. That is just never, ever going to happen. Just not possible. So, you have to make this card legend or epic for that situation to not go to complete hell. So they made it an epic, and I think that's actually the best case scenario for Arena mode. So I'm glad that they did that, despite some of you guys might be a bit disappointed opening this card in your packs, possibly several times. It's the new Bolf openings of the epic tier, but it is what it is. Overall, I think they should have made this card better, either as a base or as a reward for you not having any minions. Obviously, it's really a trash tier card, but I am somewhat excited to see if they're going to follow through with their responses of we haven't seen all the cards yet, and see how much more we can push this card, maybe not just in the upcoming Kobolds expansion, but in the future as a whole. I'm pretty excited to see a real and interesting direction for Hunter, because that is something we have not seen since the start of Hearthstone. Hunter has just been play early game stuff, get your first few minions to stick, and whittle your opponent down with hero power before they can unfold their strategy. And that's just not been fun to play against. And what are they going to do? They're going to make more good Beast 1-drops and 2-drops this expansion or next expansion. Then Hunter's going to come back, but the gameplay experience is going to be the same for all of us veteran Hearthstone players. So this is cool. I like the idea of a real new direction, and I hope it works out. Though, since we haven't seen anything else with this requirement from this expansion, probably won't work out in this expansion, but we'll see what the future holds. For now, Hope you guys enjoyed my review. Let me know what you think about To My Side, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.